Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Ophiuchus, let's take a look at what is the just kind of like overall breath of fresh air kind of message. And we have the magician, which has kind of like our tooth fairy or fairy godmother here. I feel like Ophiuchus is either they have like a benevolent benefactress in their life, or it may start to feel as if some of their wishes are being granted. It might be that there is a person coming into Ophiuchus's life that could like be an agent of like, greasing the wheels, making sure that Ophiuchus can get some of the wins that they'd like to have in their life. Sometimes we're thinking about something we'd like to do, and then bizarrely we bump into just the person that we needed to talk to, just the person who has, you know, inside information about, great advice for us, if we're trying to figure out how to accomplish something or do something. And we bump into the right person who has all the data that we needed. Oh well, my whatever son or daughter happens to run that company. Was that the company you wanted to work at? Well, I I'll put in a word for with about you with them. Could be something along those lines. And then we have this two of wands. That two of wands is the energy of like looking at things from two different directions. I think that Ophiuchus has been or will be in a position where as wishes start to come true, as they're able to start manifesting, they're going to have a hard time keeping up with, okay, I have this opportunity. It seems like it came out of nowhere. How do I take advantage of every opportunity that's showing up? Because I think it's going to be a lot of great opportunities. Actually, I think we need a message. Universe, can you guide Ophiuchus on that? Strength card. What does Ophiuchus love most? What is it that they have most wanted? Because if things are going to start showing up in Ophiuchus's life, a streak of good fortune, opportunities to have things that they have wanted to manifest, like here's the thing: we're always going to be a better driver if we know which lane we want to be in, right? Now, sometimes it's like, well, I want to go to the store, but I also want to go to the zoo. If we're like, I'm going to go to the store, I'm changing lanes. No, 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 I should go to the zoo first. We change lanes again. We could actually miss both exits, right? It says Ophiuchus does need to ask themselves, what is my priority? Because I'm going to have more than one option on awesome things I could do or awesome opportunities that come in, but I'm going to have to pick one to kind of focus on first. It doesn't mean that I have to pick one or the other. I can pick them both, but let me focus on the one that I want to explore first. And the one that Ophiuchus really wants to explore first might be the one that will test them the most. I kind of wonder if the thing that we need to do first is going to also require like the most amount of energy, then we might need to get that done in the beginning of the day, right? There's two beautiful things that I have the chance to do today. I could go, we'll say, skiing, but then I can also, get a massage. Well, maybe go skiing first when we're fresh in the morning, fresh as a daisy, have all of our energy, then go get that massage later on. I'm just using like a simple example here. I don't think that's what it is. I think that these are life opportunities that might be, these are things that Ophiuchus has wanted to manifest. So can we see anything about what these details are that Ophiuchus has wanted? Seven of Pentacles. Okay, they've been working hard on this for a long time too. Could be a collaboration, could have been something creative, could be that Ophiuchus is now, meeting just the right person or people to interact with. And now it's like, okay, for this creative endeavor that I alone have been working on for so long, I've reached a point where I'm gaining recognition. Other people now want to work with me. So who do I want to work with? Let's get one more here. We've got the Hanged Man and we got the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is sideways. All right. So if we have the Seven of Pentacles going to the Hanged Man, and this is like Sleeping Beauty, I keep thinking that Ophiuchus is like, I didn't really think that I'd ever get to this point where I'm the one who gets to pick. Who do I say yes to? Who do I let franchise my company? Who do I say yes to? Where will I share some of my energy? This again, it could sound stressful, but I was asking for the breath of fresh air, and it says more than one opportunity that Ophiuchus has really wanted seem to be coming in at about the same time. And if Ophiuchus has to pick the thing that they want most, and this is about like a labor of love. Let's say Ophiuchus has like raised a dog specifically, like a guide dog or something, and now they get to place it with a family, and there's more than one amazing family, and it's like, oh my gosh, I never knew. How will I choose? I have this beautifully trained dog, and I have to, you know, it's going to break my heart that I can't give this dog to both, but both are equally worthy, would be loving homes, loving parents, loving, people. But I have to make some kind of a decision. However, it looks like almost every decision is great. There really isn't like a sense of disappointment at all. If this is about Ophiuchus being sought after for their talents, and now they have two great job offers, they could consult with this company or they could consult with that company. Both are offering a nice paycheck, but maybe Ophiuchus is like, dang, I can't do both. And they're both amazing. I wanted to get this busy and this sought after, but now that it's happened, I have to make a decision. Ace of Coins. This whole storyline is about Ophiuchus making the decision, but it will probably direct their life down a particular path. So there is one path, whichever route Ophiuchus takes, it will kind of like, at least in this fictional story, whatever choice Ophiuchus makes, it will now lead them down this very particular road. They can't actually do both. So it'll be kind of like, it'll introduce new energy. It'll change Ophiuchus's like landscape of their life, whatever their choice is. 5 of Coins. And Ophiuchus admittedly might wonder, will I have chosen right even after they make this decision? Have I chosen right? Let's say this was about lovers. Let's say Ophiuchus goes from being single to all of a sudden meeting two amazing people, both of whom are asking Ophiuchus out. But Ophiuchus is like, I can't date them both. I have the kiss of true love waking me up. Maybe I have somebody new coming in, but I also have somebody from the past. Am I going to regret whichever path I take? And all I can say is that this kind of hints at going down the new road, not the old road. If this is about love, and it very well could be, although we haven't seen a lot of love in this, but let's say Ophiuchus has manifested, having a great person in their life. The universe heard that, but maybe two people show up. Yes, Ophiuchus might have to, deal with the fact that they can't have both. So it could suck a little bit. They could worry a little bit that they've made the wrong choice, but they're picking the emperor. Whatever this is, I think Ophiuchus is going to choose, if this is about a job, they're choosing the boss who like really comes across as the person they trust the most to make really good decisions, the person who's like got a company that's really flourishing. If this is about love, Ophiuchus may choose the person that they already know is very serious, wants long term. And is, honorable and is kind. It really feels like Ophiuchus is ending up with an emperor. See, I kind of think Ophiuchus is going to choose really, really wisely for themselves. Because if they go back to center and they go, what is it that I've been trying to manifest? Ideally, we would always try to manifest the best for ourselves. But it does get complicated when more than one person comes in, especially after a long period of time. Especially if one of them is from the past and one of them is new. But this is kind of like a Jack and the Beanstalk story. You plant those seeds and then it, goes all the way to the sky. But I think Ophiuchus has to look at it as, what would I want to commit to for the long term? Who do I see as long-term commitment? Which company could I see me working for a long time? Who would I want to retire with? Who has a better 401k? That thinking about our decisions today for what the impact would be for longevity might be the way that Ophiuchus figures out which road to take. You still have a 4 of Swords and a 5 of Cups. Ophiuchus might have to deal with the person who's not chosen being very, very sad. Ophiuchus themselves could feel both a measure of like disappointment that they're going to have to This could be really tough. I have to pick one amazing thing or another amazing thing. I'm sad because I didn't want to let go of somebody, but I also know I can't let them into my life if I'm picking this other lover. So this could be tough, but I still think it's going to be that Ophiuchus really chooses what's right for themselves, even if it is hard to have to make the decision. Let's get another message about that Emperor. Knight of Wands. Somebody very passionate. Page of Swords. Ace of Pentacles again. And this is, we have somebody who's got no clothes on, but is covered in dragon tattoos. I feel like, although I'm asking about the Emperor and we see this person who's like coming out of the shadows, they are somebody who's very passionate. They are somebody who's got the lightning in the hand. They could be very flirtatious. They could come in pretty fast. Oftentimes, this is somebody who gets a bad rap for being like a player. But in fact, this could be somebody who's like, they've been not a player, but somebody who's been looking for the kind of person that they would want to settle down with. Maybe they have dated a lot, but it almost looks like they've done that because they've been looking for the right person. This is definitely them seeking and trying to find the right person. And if that's who Ophiuchus represents, it's like, that's literally the answer to all my dreams. By the way, Ophiuchus may have a banging bod, masculine or feminine. Let me just say it this way. This Emperor, this is Ophiuchus's bod is like just their cup of tea. Whatever size, whatever shape, whatever, they really are attracted to Ophiuchus. And we all have our own, like particular things that we think are really beautiful, really big turn-ons, right? We all have our own, beauty is so very, very much in the eye of the beholder. That's a very true statement, not a cliche. And I just feel like Ophiuchus works on this Emperor. Strength card. I feel like they are very focused on Ophiuchus. They are very focused on if Ophiuchus ever worried, like, are you a player? I don't know. You kind of, I'm not so sure. You're very charming, but are you the real deal? I feel like this person's like, let me show you. I also have to say, I think that Ophiuchus and this person will have a lovely, love life, a lovely life of intimacy. It does seem like this is kind of a partner who wants long-term longevity, and they're very, very passionate. There's definitely like the passion is there. And I'm wondering if that is something that, I don't know if the other choice, let me just look briefly. The other choice, what was that about? Six of Wands, but also the Nine of Swords. I don't know what the other relationship was that Ophiuchus has to choose from, but it's somebody who sometimes stresses him out, sometimes makes Ophiuchus feel really amazing. It was kind of a mixed bag. I found myself having sleepless nights, worrying about, am I attractive enough? Maybe even, or, sometimes I'd feel really great. And then other times I would be really stressed out, wondering if I was enough. I love the fact that I think that the person Ophiuchus is ending up with, see, we have the Justice card. The person that Ophiuchus, I think, is choosing, or the situation that Ophiuchus is going to be choosing, is one that is consistent. This shows inconsistency, and that inconsistency, maybe hot and cold behavior, was unfair and made Ophiuchus always kind of feel like imbalanced, or like, I'm not sure if this person sees me. I'm not sure how this person feels. And that's kind of unfair to be kept wondering, is this somebody who really, I don't know, it feels like somebody was blowing hot and cold. The other person blows hot and cold. Even though Ophiuchus does have two options coming in, it does feel like one is a past and one is new. I don't know who is who per se, but in this storyline, it looks like Ophiuchus winds up with something very stable, very long-term, and somebody who makes him feel really attractive and is like all about Ophiuchus. I think that's a big component. Ophiuchus wanted somebody that would be like all about them. And I think that's who they're meeting. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for being an awesome supporter of the channel. Ophiuchus, I know you guys are my tiniest watch group, but the Ophiuchus watchers are also so dedicated. So I thank you so much, you guys. Lots of love. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.